Hi there, my name is Ben. I put together this training for electrical contractors to help them grow their businesses through SEO using 9 simple steps. So these are the 9 steps that I typically use for my electrical clients because it gets results. It is focused on revenue and basically growing your business through SEO. So let's get started. So we're going to have a look at 9 different steps. We're going to understand SEO, foundational SEO, what content is and how it can help, target effective and valuable keywords, building authority and trust with backlinks and citations, competitor research, local SEO signals, analyzing what worked and what failed, and 9, continually on improving on the first 8 steps. So by implementing these 9 steps, you typically get a complete SEO campaign and strategy. By implementing this month after month, you will consistently grow your business, authority, traffic, and ultimately conversions from people searching for electrical services in your local area. So let's get started. So understanding SEO, what it is, why it's so effective for electrical contractors. SEO is the process of implementing the right signals and information on your site around the internet itself to develop trust, authority, expertise with your users in Google. This helps Google trust your website and ultimately convert users once they visit your website. One of the main points of SEO is to focus on revenue created by your strategy, not just rankings and traffic. We want to focus on growing your business, and that comes down to revenue. Right for user, not Google. People typically try and do too much, make a website more complicated than it needs to be, and basically try and manipulate Google's algorithms rather than focusing on what's kind of helpful to a user. You want to obviously get people to visit your website, but you need to convert them. If your website isn't converting, it's typically not going to be performing an ROI, a positive ROI when it comes to SEO. Obviously, we want to keep Google as the number 1 option from a search engine, but Bing is also a consideration that can help drive conversions as well. Other than that, outside of those 2, really wouldn't focus on too many other search engines. So obviously, SEO is important, local SEO involved in that as well, but you want to have the right expectations for SEO. It's a long-term strategy. Results can take 3 to 6 months in some cases, but it's better to think over a 12-month period to see sustainable results. Anyone kind of like offering number 1 rankings in a month, typically run away from that. It's going to be not great, and it's not sustainable, and really not going to get you the results that you need to grow. So 2, foundational SEO. So crawlable websites, secure and user-friendly. This is the foundations of SEO. We really want to have a strong website and a strong presence in place before we go ahead with anything else on this list. Can't really build a house on a broken foundation, and the same principle applies to SEO, especially for electrical contractors. So it needs to be solid before moving on. It needs to be easily found by Google, your website. It needs to be able to be indexed and crawled. So that means Google will send out bots. It needs to be able to understand what your website's about, the content, the services you offer, and really a secure user's internet browser. Google does need to be able to find and index your site, number 1. If you can't find your site, it's not going to have the potential to show up in search results. Typically, it's pretty obvious when this is the case, but sometimes I've had electrical clients that have had half their website not being able to be indexed by Google, which is a huge issue. Next, we kind of come to a secure website. So I've got 2 examples here of a couple of electrical contractors. One's the left example is not secure, whereas the right one is secure. If you've ever gone to a website in Chrome, Internet Explorer, or anything like that, you'll typically see a padlock for a secure site, and a not secure website has the potential for a user to kind of get in there and edit some elements of a website, which can be dangerous. So we want to make sure that our website has implemented an SSL certificate, and The best way to do this is contact your hosting, but you want to make sure that SSL certificate is in place and it redirects to the secure version, which is HTTPS, not HTTP. So it's a very specific thing, and most websites will have this implemented. But if you don't, if you see your website is not secure, this is a big thing to make sure is implemented straight away. So next, to turn a user from just a reader to a paying customer, we want to make sure that it's easy for them to contact us. And this is, every page should have a call to action. It should be easy for a user to take the next step and get in touch with you. You can see this example. You've got a couple of places. You've got Seattle East Side. You've got phone numbers. These are clickable, which is important on mobile devices. And you've got a button for request a quote. So they could do this better, don't get me wrong, but it's a good example to keep things simple, keep things easy for a user to kind of take that next step, which for electrical contractors is getting in touch with you, whether that's through phone or a contact form. So next we jump to great website content. So this is service and location landing pages, blog content, core service pages, anything that is a little bit unique for your business that people are going to be searching for. So depending on the services you offer, you're going to have different landing pages. Whether you're commercial, you're going to have a commercial landing page, a residential landing page. It should be separated like that. So if someone's searching for commercial electrician services, they don't land on your industrial or your residential or your solar services page. It needs to be hyper-focused for a user to provide the best value possible. So obviously we want to provide valuable information to a customer. If your website's not really answering questions, there's not much point going further on this list. You need to make sure that your website is valuable and useful to a reader. A great way of doing this is answer questions a user will have kind of before they even come to your site. So for example, if a user comes to your site and asking how much a commercial fit out is, for example, you can answer the next questions they typically have, the most common answers you get around those service offerings, just to show that you understand the industry. You kind of like demonstrate that expertise, and Google and your users do take notice of that, and it does impact the conversion rate. Presents you as the authority in your local area. And makes it easy to kind of for them to get in touch with you, which is the main thing. That's how we generate revenue from SEO. We want people to be able to contact us as easy as possible. So there's several helpful types of content. Core service offerings we've just talked about. Frequently asked questions. This is really, really important to kind of like show that you are providing helpful content, answering people's questions, just being valuable. Google will take notice of this, and frequently asked questions is a great way to kind of optimize common questions you get around your business for SEO friendly content. Local service area pages. So for example, in this example below, we've got a website that typically has two areas, judging by the local area code 818 and 310. So we want to have two separate landing pages for specific locations. So if you did San Francisco and Las Vegas, for example, if you had two shops open, you want a landing page for both, because if someone's searching in, say, San Diego, they don't want to be coming to a page that's talking about electrical services in Los Angeles. Google's going to not see that as hyper relevant and basically rank the competition higher than that. So you kind of want to make sure that the services, the cities you offer, have their own individual landing pages, and then you can kind of like narrow down into that for specific suburbs or neighborhoods of each city that you typically get the most value from. It's obviously going to depend from contracting business from one to another to kind of like what you should focus on, but it's a really, really good way of getting hyper relevant and local people kind of jumping on your site. Testimonials and past customer experiences. This does kind of tie into like, say, Google reviews and that kind of stuff, but actually showing testimonials and past experiences from past customers is a great way to kind of show people that you're helpful, you provide a great service, and it really helps people decide to hire you as their contractor rather than the competitors. So we have a look at the example. We've got services landing pages, we've got reviews and testimonials, we've got the FAQs, and we've got a gallery, which is kind of also past customer experiences, just to show off the best work you guys have done. So these are typically the core pages. This is a little bit different than blog content. Blog content is very subjective. How the overall strategy will work, you kind of want to try and be as valuable as possible. Blog content is a great way to do that. It does need to be targeted, or you can waste a lot of time and energy doing it, but it is one of the best ways to kind of start branching out and start ranking for some really, really valuable keywords and just broaden that net of online visibility in search engines. But start with these core pages and kind of branch out from there. Make sure these are in place before working on blog content. So targeting effective and valuable keywords. So targeting the best keywords for your business. What words people search for that are related to your service offerings that really drive business, that get people on the phone, getting in contact with you, booking your services, basically paying you money. These typically are going to be a little bit more competitive. The more search volume, the more intent of someone buying is going to be much more competitive, especially in larger cities. But you really want to be focused on the keywords that are going to drive business when it comes to it. We don't want to rank for a keyword that no one searches for, or even if they visit the website, they're not going to convert. We really want commercial intent in keywords and people looking to pay money for electrical services. That's what it comes down to. That's key to getting a positive ROI when it comes to SEO. And that's what a lot of agencies and freelancers overlook. It's more so rankings because they're a little bit easier to demonstrate than revenue, but it is incorrect. We should be focused on revenue because, it's impossible to show if you spent $1,000 on SEO and you don't know how much money you're getting back. Then, who knows, right? Who knows if it's actually working? That's a huge mistake many SEO campaigns make. So each page of your website should focus on 1 to 2 keywords, 1 to 2 primary keywords. The page will rank for a lot more than that typically, as long as the content is good. But we want to really dive into the keywords that are going to drive revenue for that specific page. For example, for a commercial electrician in Seattle, that would be a great keyword for a Seattle landing page that focused on commercial installations. That would be very, very hyper specific and hyper relevant, and Google would probably identify that landing page as very, very valuable and relevant to someone searching for commercial electrician services in Seattle or near them if they were based around Seattle. So you want to add these keywords into key areas of the page, like the title, headers, content itself. So you don't want to go overboard here. A lot of people trying to optimize for SEO will typically add too many keywords on a page. It's like wherever they can, they'll slot it in. You want to keep the content sounding natural, and the main thing is to keep it focused on helping the reader. That is number one. You write for your reader, not for Google. So you can see this example here. Seattle commercial electrician. They've got it in the page title. They've also got it in the content. Google's going to be able to read that and start potentially showing that up for relevant searches in Google search. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it, and don't try and say, I want commercial electrician in Seattle to be in the page 5 times. It isn't that important. The amount of times it's actually visible on page, It just matters that it makes sense, it's valuable, and yeah, the keywords are present somewhere on the page. But yeah, just keep it simple. Make sure it sounds good when you read it out loud. All right, so once we've got the content and the website kind of dialed in, we want to look to building authority and trust with backlinks and local citations. Now, backlink building is a vital part of an SEO campaign. Don't get me wrong, it is. It's one of the most difficult, time-consuming, and potentially costly areas if you don't know what you're doing. This is where I see a lot of agencies and a lot of electrical contractor-owned business owners really waste money just chucking links at a website and hoping for the best. It's not the best way to do it. We want to kind of see what the number one competitors are ranking for. We'll get to competitor research in a little bit here. And yeah, basically build strong, relevant backlinks. We want to focus on quality, not quantity. So yeah, the primary focus here should be creating super relevant links to the most important pages that really drive revenue to your business. You don't necessarily want to be spreading hundreds of links over the website. We want to be focused. We want to go into it with a bit of a strategy. Say if the top competitor has 10 really powerful backlinks to their commercial services in Seattle page, typically you're going to want 11, 12 of the same tier, like the same caliber links. So that can obviously going to vary from case to case, situation to situation, but we want to kind of understand what the competitors are doing and then implement that in a little bit stronger way. Obviously, we do want the links to be authoritative, but the key here is they have to come from a relevant domain. They have to come from a relevant website, or Google's going to outright ignore them. Say, for example, a website from a dog training blog linked to your commercial electrician page. Google's going to see that. Google's going to understand that, no, this isn't relevant, and ignore it. So keep it simple, but focus on relevancy, and then go for authoritative links. One word of caution, stay away from cheap link building services. It's common to see these 1,000 links for $10, $50. You'll get your website in trouble. Stay away from them, stay clear. And yeah, typically you get what you pay for in link building. Not always, but stay away from cheap. So competitor research. This is one of the best areas of SEO. I love doing competitor research for my electrical contracting clients. It just gives the best value, the best kind of way forward for understanding why your competitors are ranking so well. Understanding what they're doing well and how you can improve on that is the key to beating them in search results. So this step could fit really anywhere on this list, but it's just here because it's going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to always want to be seeing what our competitors are doing, kind of what backlinks they've got, what keywords they're targeting, and if that changes over time. How is their website structured? It's a pretty easy way to see if your website is not converting too well. If they're not converting too well, then really understanding how a competitor's website is structured is really key. Where is their contact form located? What's their frequently asked questions? That kind of content. What keywords are they actually trying to target for specific landing pages? And yeah, how can you implement that for your website and do it a little bit better so Google starts viewing your website as the authority over the competitors? One thing, we only really want to focus on the competitors that are doing well in your industry, your location. Don't focus on competitors that aren't ranking well just because they could be doing something wrong, and you could kind of do the wrong things as well. So here we can see examples of some competitor research I like to do for my clients. You can see the top example. In September 21, they had quite a large organic traffic boom. So what did they do? What blog post typically could have that been? What keywords did they start ranking for in a specific time? Because that type of traffic if it's then a really, really valuable keyword, it's good to analyze that page and be like, okay, how can I do that for my business? How can I make it better than theirs so I start outranking them? How can your website take advantage of this? And then obviously look into the top keywords your competitors are ranking for and keeping an eye on that over time. So for electrical contractors, you want to reach local customers. For example here, commercial electrician in Seattle. If someone's in the Seattle region and electrical contractors near me is typed in, Google's going to show them local results for Seattle because that's where they typically are located, and Google kind of understands that. So local SEO is about the 3-pack. You can see the 3 results on the left, and then you've got a map pack. This is local SEO results, and for electrical contractors, this is incredibly powerful if you can break into this top 3 and start seeing results, people kind of clicking, contacting you, giving you a call kind of thing directly from results. If your business will serve a local area or multiple areas. When someone searches in this area, you've got the potential to show up, right? So local SEO is a little bit different than organic SEO. We want to focus on reviews, localized content, and really just name, address, phone number, or NAP information. And that should be identical across all your website listing, whether that's Facebook, any social medias, any local citations, and the website itself should have some information in the footer typically of where the business is located, the name of it, and how to contact it. So name, address, phone number is a very key component of local SEO. And consistently building 5-star reviews and responding to those reviews, answering questions, anything like that is very, very important when it comes to the map pack and the standard 3-pack we're seeing in local SEO results. All right, so that's typically the first 7 steps is the local, the SEO campaign itself. Now, one topic that people tend to overlook is analyzing what worked and what didn't. So basically improving, right? We see data all the time. We do SEO audits and stuff like that, but SEO audits only give us the information. We need to know how to interpret that. So what pages started ranking better? What pages started ranking worse? What keywords is Google typically showing our landing pages for in search results? And is it relevant? Is Google getting it right? If not, you need to make some adjustments. What page is drawing the most traffic and conversions? You need to make sure that tracking is set up correctly. We want to be focused on tracking conversions, and then conversions number 1, and then rankings and traffic number 2. If for some reason your website is getting 1,000 visits every single day and no one's converting, there is an issue there. So you need to make sure that you're focused on what really drives revenue, and that is conversions. That's people getting in touch with you and making paying you money for electrical services. So focus on conversions and implement changes and fixes what generates the most revenue. Stay away from focusing on just number 1 rankings. It's the vehicle to kind of get to conversions. We need to focus on revenue. So finally, it kind of ties into the last point, but you need to be continually improving the first 8 steps. So SEO is a very long-term strategy. Think 12 months. You need to be understanding what's worked and what hasn't worked, and how you can kind of improve that over time to really make the most ROI gain from SEO. So SEO is always evolving. What worked just a year ago probably might not work in the next year. So you kind of have to keep up to date with trends, and it can be kind of time consuming and costly, especially if you make some wrong calls. So that's typically why a lot of people outsource or bring SEO in-house. So people kind of the experts in the field really understand what's going on in the industry and how to take advantage of any opportunities. So we want to basically always be evolving our strategy. It's not going to stay the same. It's always going to have to, there's going to be different strategies, but we need to be focused on what really works, and that is basically what drives conversions. So if you're interested in getting this done for you, exploring how SEO can really help grow your electrical contracting business, I am currently offering free consultations and free audits for electrical contractors. You can book your time slot in the link below. It's from a time slot. It'll take you to Calendly. Put in the date and the time you want to have a chat, and yeah, we can have a chat and kind of talk about how an SEO campaign might look for your business, and if SEO is even right for your business. SEO isn't going to be the right fit for all electrical businesses, but it can help. So yeah, if you've got any questions, just reach out to me directly. My name is Ben McLaughlin. I'm an SEO specialist in SEO and for electrical contractors. And yeah, we can just get in touch with me, answer any questions you might have about SEO and how it will help your electrical business grow. So thanks for staying through all the way to the end, and have a great day.